If Stu Macher is still alive, then does Gale's camera from the first movie have evidence of this? Let's talk about it.
Certain rules. Push the laws and you end up dead.
This is the moment when the supposedly dead killer comes back to life.
Not in my movie.
Surprise, Sydney.
He's gone mad.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
A very simple formula.
You want to play psycho killer?
Everybody's a suspect.
No, please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel.
I'll be right back.
Okay, I think it's gonna go something like this.
I'm Pamela, welcome back to the channel. As you guys know, I am a Stu believer. I do believe Stu Macher is alive. I think he's going to return in Scream 7. There are plenty of clues that point towards this. If you're new here, I have tons of videos on the channel about Stu Macher still being alive, so I'll link them for you if you want to check them out. But something that I have not really talked about that often on the channel is Gale's camera in the first movie. Her little personal handheld camera that she sneakily hides below Stu's TV. When she arrives to the party, we see her place it just below the TV, and then we see some footage that she captures on the camera. Like when Randy and Stu and everyone else are watching the movie, when they're watching Halloween, and like when Randy gives the rules of surviving a horror movie, also when Randy gets the phone call that Principal Himbry was killed. We also know that the camera is on a 30-second delay.
Kenny got killed by 30-second delay.
And I have always wondered, what exactly did Gale's camera capture? What else did it capture? Did it capture Stu still being alive? This is something that we do talk about pretty often during my live streams, but I never actually made a video on it. It always comes up in my live streams when we discuss Scream theories. And where is Gale's camera today? What happened to it? You would think that it would be in the Scream 6 shrine, along with all the other items from the past movies. I mean, Kenny the cameraman's camera is in the shrine. Why isn't Gale's camera there? Speaking of the shrine, we're gonna get into something else with the shrine later on in the video, but just focusing on the camera for now, you guys know that my theory is that the police of Woodsboro helped cover up Stu's involvement, Stu still being alive. I go into great detail about this in past videos, which I'll link for you guys if you want to check them out. But I'll just quickly say that I do think Sheriff Burke from the first movie could have been involved, could have been good friends with the Macher family, called the Macher parents, let them know what their son was up to, and, you know, looking out for the Macher family. If they were good friends, Sheriff Burke could have been like, I have to look out for this kid, let my friends know what their son is up to, and try to cover this up. It's also a small town where, you know, if you're friends with the police department, if you have money, which the Machers clearly did, you could have the police do some favors for you or pay them off. Money talks, money goes a long way. Even Gale in Scream 6 says cops like money.
Well, cops like money, and evidence can get lost pretty easily.
I've said a million times before, like when Sydney calls the cops, she says, I'm at 261 Turner Lane, Stu Macher's house. He's gonna try and kill me. So it sounds like she's literally saying Stu's the killer.
I'm at Stu Macher's house on Turner Lane. It's 261 Turner Lane, please. He's gonna try and kill me.
And plenty of time passes between then and when the cops show up. So that gives Sheriff Burke plenty of time to come up with a plan, call the Machers, and figure something out. Now, obviously, I don't think that the TV killed Stu Macher for a ton of reasons. One being that his hands were held up to help soften the blow. The TV also didn't fall from that great of a height. And I don't think the TV weighed all that much because we see KIRBY in Scream 6 literally throw the TV at Ethan, so it can't weigh that much. But that's another video that I go into detail. 6 reasons that I think Stu could have survived his injuries. But now, when Stu survived the TV, I don't think that he just got up and walked out the back door. I think that the police showed up, found him lying there. You know, he was probably like knocked out unconscious, but they felt a pulse. They were like, oh shit, he's alive. Let's, you know, take him somewhere to get him some help. And then that is where everything kind of went down, where the plan really unfolded for them to figure something out, like to not release to the public that he survived. Just allow the public to think that Sydney actually killed him and move him somewhere. And obviously the police at the crime scene would have found Gale's camera, knowing that the camera captured them realizing that he was alive. So Sheriff Burke would have taken the camera into his possession to get rid of it. I think that if the camera was actually collected as evidence, it would have been in the Scream 6 shrine, along with the hundreds of other items that were in the shrine. So I think that camera is out there somewhere, and hopefully we can get our hands on it in Scream 7. When they finally reveal that Stu is alive, I hope that we get like some flashbacks to kind of piece everything together, and just I hope they find creative ways to like fill in the gaps. And I would love it if we could see Gale's camera and what it captured on tape. Now, speaking of the police knowing that Stu's alive, covering it up, I gotta bring up my theory about Dewey and Dewey possibly knowing, because he was a part of the police. I'm not going to get into great detail about this in this video because I did just do a video on it recently, which I will link for you. Dewey was part of the police and he loved his job. He loves Woodsboro. We learned this throughout the franchise that he never wants to leave Woodsboro. It's the only place that's real. So what if they threatened him like, you know, keep your mouth shut or you'll lose your job? Or someone in the comments actually mentioned, what if they threatened Gale? So he really had to keep his mouth shut. And then keeping this secret for all these years started to eat away at him, cost him his job down the road, cost him his relationship with Gale, and that's why he turned to alcohol in Scream 5. And that's why he left her in the middle of the night in New York. But getting back to the Scream 6 shrine, I also have to bring up these other clues. This is something that I have talked about on the channel before, but it's honestly been a while since I did a video on this, so I'll just bring it up to refresh your memory and kind of connect everything together. So in the Scream 6 shrine, we know that there are sketches of like past crime scenes. And we are made to believe that Richie Kirsch drew these sketches. But this does not make sense to me because how could he have drawn Principal Himbry's death? If you remember, Himbry was killed in his office, but then they moved his body to hang from the goalpost on the field. So the police would not have had photo evidence of Himbry dead on the floor like this. Only someone who was there during the murder would know what this crime scene looked like. Which brings me back to Stu. I do think that Stu was the one who killed Himbry rather than Billy, just because we see Stu head back to the school after he leaves Sydney and Tatum. There is some debate about this. Many people think that Billy killed Himbry, but either way, no matter which one of them killed him, I do think that Stu would have been there to at least see the body on the floor, because I think it took the both of them to move his body and hang him up from the goalpost. That's like a two-man job. Plus, a lot of people think that both of them were there when Himbry died because of like, you know, the taunting that Ghostface does, knocking on the doors, and then suddenly he's like hiding behind the office door. So either way, Stu would have been there to see what Himbry's dead body looked like. There is no way that Richie could have drawn this because the police would not have taken a photo of this. The police would have only seen Himbry's body hanging from the goalpost. So this is a major clue right there that Stu is the one who drew these photos.
Who drew Himbry dead on the floor? Only Ghostface saw fully hung from the post. Still clues.
Same goes for Dewey's sketch. There was a sketch of Dewey's death from Scream 5, which I do think Stu is the one who killed Dewey. I do not think that this was Amber. There are several reasons why I think this. I will link a past video for you in case you want to check that out. I do think that Amber was lying to cover for Stu because Stu's the cult leader and he's not ready to reveal himself yet. So of course she's going to take the credit for Dewey's kill because Stu wasn't ready to reveal himself yet. But there would have been no time for Richie to draw Dewey's death. Between Dewey's death and the final act, there was literally no time for Richie to draw this, so that would not make sense for it to be Richie. So yeah, lots to think about in this video, several different Stu clues for you right here, but mainly I just wanted to talk about Gale's camera. What is on that tape? We need to see it in Scream 7. But that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning into another video. Please give it a like if you enjoyed it. Share it with a friend who is a Stu believer. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future Scream theories or Scream 7 updates. I do have some Scream merch for sale if you're interested. The link is down below. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.